Hey, what's up, youth group? Good morning. What is happening? Hope you had a good Labor Day. Hey, we're here to talk about the verse of the day for today, and we're reading in John, okay, chapter 8. Okay, this is a cool story. This is a short story about Pharisees bring a woman caught in adultery to Jesus. And in those times, the laws of the land were if a person was caught in adultery, if a lady was caught in adultery, she was killed. Like that's not right, but that's how it was back then. And so basically, these Pharisees were bringing Jesus, a adulterous lady to Jesus, and being like, "Here you go, let's kill her." And look at what Jesus does. Let's see, I'm going to read from John chapter 8, verse 3. We'll start there, and then we'll get to the rest of the story here. The teachers of the law and the Pharisees brought in a woman caught in adultery. They made her stand before the group and said to Jesus, "Teacher, this woman was caught in the act of adultery. In the law, Moses commands us to stone such women. Now, what do you say?" They were using this question as a trap in order to have a basis for accusing him. So they were basically just trying to trick Jesus into saying something that was against the law of Moses so that they could actually get Jesus in trouble. That's really what they were trying to do. The heart motivation was to trap Jesus. So that's what their goal was here. It had nothing really to do with this woman in adultery. Their goal was to trap Jesus and like get him to contradict himself or to go against the law of Moses. That's what they were doing. Okay, so verse 6, they were using this question as a trap in order to have a basis for accusing him. But Jesus bent down and started to write on the ground with his finger. So he bent down on the ground, and he starts drawing in the ground and the sand. And what's interesting is the Bible does not tell us what he did, what he drew in the ground. It just says he did it. We have no idea what he wrote, if it was a picture or words or something, who knows. So when they kept on questioning him, he straightened up and said to them, "If any of you is without sin, let him be the first one to throw a stone at her." Again, he stooped down and wrote on the ground. At this, those who heard began to go away one at a time, the older ones first, until only Jesus was left, with the woman still standing there. Jesus straightened up and asked her, "Woman, where are they? Has no one condemned you?" "No one, sir," she replied. "Then neither do I condemn you," Jesus declared. "Go now and leave your life of sin." This is an awesome story because it shows Jesus as the forgiver, not the condemner. See, a lot of people look at the church, they look at Christians as people that are judging you. Hey, like, don't judge me, man. Like there's a lot of that, right, going around. And Jesus is very clear here that he is not judging. He knows about our sin. He knows that this woman was sinning, or maybe she wasn't. I don't know. And the Pharisees were just grabbing her and accusing her. And he also knew about the sins of all the Pharisees that were standing there, which is why he said, "Okay, let's if you have no sin, go ahead." And eventually they all left because they knew they were sinners too. And it's interesting. I've heard some people trying to guess what Jesus was writing in the sand. Like they said, well, maybe he was writing a list of the Pharisees' sins. Maybe he was writing down the names of people they had sinned against. Or maybe he was writing, who knows? I mean, nobody knows. But there's just people that are like, making guesses, right? But that's really not the point. I mean, it would be cool to know what Jesus was writing in the sand that made everybody go away. But here's the point. Jesus does not look at you and look at your list of sins and go, you're a bad person. Okay, Jesus says, "Hey, I forgive you." He says, "I forgive you. I know what you've done, but I forgive you." and I do not condemn you. And that's what is so great about this story, is that it really doesn't matter. Like, the punishment may be death by the world's perspective, okay, or even by the religious leader's perspective. But Jesus says, I forgive you. So that's powerful, and that's powerful to live in that idea that you know, even though I'm a sinner and I've done bad things, you know, God forgives me. Jesus forgives me. And he says that over and over in the New Testament. He says, I do not condemn you. I did not come into this world to condemn you. I forgive. I forgive you. So rest in that. Let that comfort you. And at any time in your life, you can come to Jesus and say, Lord, forgive me. I've sinned. I've done something wrong. Please forgive me, Jesus. And he goes, okay, I forgive you. And that's the end of it. It's great. It's awesome. That's how awesome our God is. Have a great week. We'll see you next week.